Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the mid-year freakout tag, even though we're halfway through July, but that's okay. So if you don't know what the mid-year freakout tag is, it's just a tag of questions all about your reading for the first half of the year. So let's just get straight into the questions. The first question is the best book you've read so far this year. This book I actually don't have physically, but it would be All Your Perfect by Colleen Hoover. I sat there writing down this list for a good 15 minutes trying to piece together what my favorite read of 2021 has been so far. And it's so hard because some books I hold sentimental value to and that's why I appreciate them, or some books I like the characters, or some I just like the story. I was like, what book stood out to me more than the rest? And that would have to be All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. The next question is the best sequel that you have read so far in 2021. This would have to be a tie between genuinely any of the Heartstopper sequels, but specifically Volume 4. Amazing. Nothing can beat Heartstopper. Like, genuinely, I go into it and I know I'm not going to be disappointed. Every single piece of Alice Oseman's work I've got into and I've come out astounded by how much I love it. The other option would be Hunting Prince Dracula by Kerry Maniscalco, which is the second book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I honestly love this book. I wasn't expecting to like this series as much as I did, which we'll get into later on in the video, but I absolutely adore this series. I love Kerry Maniscalco's writing. I absolutely love the characters in this. I've heard that the writing style in this is different to the writing style in Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerry Maniscalco, which is another read I'm very excited for, but I love the writing in this, so I can't see how she could do any wrong in her other books either. The next question is a new release that you haven't read yet but you really want to. This is a very easy answer for me, and that's The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. As you can see, I have the Truly Devious books and I absolutely adored them. I am so excited to read The Box in the Woods, but it's not available in Australia yet. In other countries I'm pretty sure it's available, but here it goes out on, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the 6th of September. So I'm super excited to read that. Another one would be Counting Down With You. I'm not 100% sure what the author's name was, but I'll leave all the books that I'm talking about linked below. Anyway, The Box in the Woods, I'm so excited to read. And the cover, stunning. The next question is your most anticipated release for the second half of 2021. And I have a few. One of them, I have them written down here, by the way, that's why I'm looking down here. So I believe it's called The Shadow and the Ember, which is a prequel story for the From Blood and Ash series. Super excited for that one. That's coming out in, I believe, November. There's You've Reached Sam by Dustin Dow, and who can forget Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. Super excited for that book. I loved These Violent Delights, and I'm really scared to read the sequel, to be honest with you. Really scared. Romeo and Juliet retelling, I can't imagine it ending very well for us, so that's exciting. Now, this next section is going to get a bit passionate for a second. The biggest disappointment of 2021. I have two books that fit this category. The first one that comes to mind, and the main answer for this question, is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I am going to get so much hate for this, but I didn't like this book. I ended up rating it a 2-star. It was just so dumpy and I just didn't care for it at all. Like, there was something, like, I love Patroclus and Achilles, but at the same time it was just kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. Disappointing, very disappointing, especially with all the hype that this book gets. It just wasn't it for me, and the ending, not sad at all. I'm sorry I said what I said. When I first made this list and answered these questions, I hadn't read this book yet, but now I have read this book, and this definitely belongs in that category, and that's Normal People by Sally Rooney. Are we surprised this is here? No. I don't even want to talk about it. I've talked about it enough. Check out my weekly reading vlog if you want to hear about this, because I don't want to talk about it anymore, because it's no. moving along to a more exciting topic, the biggest surprise for your reading for 2021. That is very easily Stalking Jack the Ripper by Cara Maniscalco. I was not expecting to like this as much as I did. This was a buddy read pick for Mel Read's Patreon, and I saw it and I was like, okay, like, I'll read it, and I absolutely loved this book so much. The sequel even more. I have no words for how much I love this series. I have the third book on the way and I'm very excited to read it, possibly next month. Very exciting. New favorite author. Now, take a moment. If you know anything about me, can you guess? I have two answers for this question. One main answer and one secondary answer. I'm sure you can at least guess the main one. Have a think. I'll let you think for a second. You finished? My favorite author is Colleen Hoover. It's not a secret to anyone. Now, obviously this question is new authors, which means that, you know, new to me or debut, but I only started reading again really in February this year, so Colleen Hoover is new to me. So Colleen Hoover. But as a secondary answer, I have Alice Oseman. I absolutely adore all the work that Alice Oseman puts out. I have all of her books except one. I'm missing one of her books, which is This Winter, which is a solitaire novella, which I'm very excited to get my hands on. But I just love the topics she covers. Obviously her writing style is not the most amazing thing in the world, but I don't care. Like, I don't care. It's the characters she builds, it's the world she builds, it's the connections, it's the stories, it's the morals, it's just everything about it that I absolutely love. One of my favorite books by her is Solitaire. I just wanted to read you, this is not a part of the tag, but I just wanted to read you the end of this book. It's not a spoiler. So in Alice Oseman's novels and in her graphic novels and everything, she has some of my favorite quotes in the world. This is my favorite quote from Solitaire. I'm going to read it for you. I don't know what's going to happen to our school, and I don't know what's going to happen to us. I don't know how long I'm going to be like this. All I know is that I'm here and I'm alive and I'm not alone. I love Alice Oseman. She just speaks to my entire soul, and I love her. Anyway, moving along, so stop gushing about Alice Oseman. The next question is your newest fictional crush, and I recently read The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas, which is the prequel to the Throne of Glass series, and I fell in love with Sam Cortland when I knew I shouldn't have. Sam Cortland is amazing. He is my newest fictional crush. I love him with my entire heart and soul. That book, Sarah J Maas, I'm coming for you. Seriously, not okay. Continuing on with the theme of favorite characters, this one is your newest favorite character, and that goes to Thomas Creswell, which kind of goes under the category of crush too, because I love him. But Thomas Creswell from the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, I love that man so much. I guess Audrey kind of goes under this category too, because I really like her as a main character. So Audrey and Thomas from the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. Books that have made me cry this year. I have a few. I get quite emotional when I read books. I'm not an emotional person in real life, but when it comes to reading books, when it comes to fictional characters and fictional things, it really gets me, and I don't know why. But the first book I'm going to put is All Your Perfects. I literally sobbed reading that book. That was not okay. Another Colleen Hoover book is It Ends With Us. That really got me as well. I think there's only been like one Colleen Hoover book that I've read that I haven't cried with, but that's fine. It Ends With Us, I cried a lot reading, and there's definitely more, but I can't think of any at the top of my head. I'm an emotional wreck when I'm reading books. I did cry reading A Court of Silver Flames too. I did cry at the end part. You know if you've read it. I cried. Anyway, the next question is books that make you happy. I have picked out two books for this. The first one being Amari and the Night Brothers. This is a middle grade, but it's absolutely amazing. I would recommend it to anyone. Just amazing. It gives me real Men in Black vibes. I don't know why, but it really does. And I absolutely love this. I put off reading it for a very long time because, I don't know, I think I was just nervous it wasn't going to live up to the hype. but it did. I've never seen a single bad review for this book, and it deserves the hype completely. Another book I put in this category is Red, White, and Royal Blue, because I loved it. It made me smile, it made me laugh. The humor in this was absolutely immaculate. The chemistry, everything. I loved this book, and it made me really happy when I read it. So there's that as well. Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. You know what? We're gonna backtrack for a second here. Another book I want to add on the biggest disappointments is I'm going to put down One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, because that was disappointing, to say the least, considering all the hype it was getting. And compared to Red, White, and Royal Blue, it just wasn't it. It just wasn't it. Moving on to the most beautiful book I own. Now, I don't have any special edition books or anything like that because we don't really get them here in Australia. However, I do have a book subscription box coming on the way, so that'll be exciting. I'll have a customized book. Very excited for that. But in the meantime, I have a few picked out for this. The first one being Tilly and the Bookrunners from the Pages & Co series. This is like one of the only hardcovers I own. The other one I'm going to show you, but this is one of the only hardcovers I own, and it's very pretty. But then it gets better. The naked cover is stunning, absolutely stunning, and there's little illustrations in the book throughout, and like the words kind of go with the illustrations. It's just a pretty book all round. The other hardcover book that I own is Some Girls Do by Jennifer Dugan, and I just thought this cover was really pretty. This is literally the reason I bought the book. I think the cover's really pretty, right? The naked cover is just blank, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's just blank, but I think the book's really pretty. The book was not good, so I don't recommend buying it, but it's pretty. I've got really bad pins and needles in my leg. Lastly for this category is Crescent City by Sarah J Maas. I haven't actually read this book yet, but it is gorgeous. Gorgeous. And I know like everyone owns this book, but here where I live, I could not find this cover for the life of me. I found this copy in a sketchy bookstore in the middle of the city for like $35, and I bought it because I was like, I need that cover. Everywhere else had that white cover, and it was like the shorter book with like the crescent on it. It was just not it. Also, how floppy this book is. I'm so excited to read it just for the fact that it's floppy. Look at that. That's amazing. That's amazing. The next category is books that I need to read before the end of the year. And look, at the top of this list is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. Now, back when I first got into reading again, this is in the first order of books that I made online. My first ever online book order, I ordered this book, and I still have not read it. I don't know why. I really want to read this book, but I keep putting it off. Every time I put it on my TBR, I have not read it. Someone really needs to hold me accountable for this because I really need to read it. I've read Monday's Not Coming, and I really liked it. So I don't know why I can't read this. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I really need to finish by the end of the year. Another book I really need to read by the end of the year is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara? Sorry, I'm probably saying that wrong. But look how big it is. It's chunky, and I'm going to show you something. Look how tiny the font is. Do you see that? That's tiny. And also I'm going to crack this spine, and I'm just going to make me really sad because this is like stiff. I'll have to read it like this. But yes, I'm very excited to read this book. I've heard that it is quite intense and a really hard read, but I'm very excited to read it. And lastly, the next book that I want to read by the end of the year is behind me because I'm not bothered getting it off the shelf, and that's Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I read Six of Crows and I loved it, rated it 5 stars. Very excited to read Crooked Kingdom, but I just don't have time this month because of all the books that I'm reading. So I'm hoping to maybe squeeze it in next month. But yeah, anyways, that is all the questions for the mid-year freak out book tag. I hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know down below what your biggest book disappointment was this year, because I want to talk about it. I love hearing opinions of people who like books, but what I love even more is hearing people's opinions about books they don't like. I like arguing with people. Someone told me that they like Normal People by Sally Rooney, and we'll have some serious discussions in the comments. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.